So let me tell you a secret. Yesterday, I went to Costco without showering. I didn't shower. I didn't put any makeup on. I put my hair under a hat and I went to Costco with my two kids. And I don't go anywhere without doing all this. I mean, I never used to go anywhere without doing all that. And to show up at Costco without showering, I mean, I might have legit stunk. My kids would have told me, but that's like, what? And something I never would have imagined myself doing in the past. And that is something that these chapters directly address. That fear of, holy shit, this is not normal, not my normal self that I would try and present to the world. And I had some of that, like, I don't have it anymore. I'm trying to tell you, I have some panic because I've gotten so used to it. Like, I really don't care anymore. But when I first did that, and like, I imagine, okay, Carrie, like, what's the next level? And not that we have to go find the next level, but I imagine, what if I went to Safeway completely naked, but naked? Like, that would definitely be like an edge for me, right? It would be an edge for all of us because we don't do that in society. But what if? So, the panic, the holy shit, people are looking at me funny, like, and these chapters and this book is about moving ourselves through that fear and not getting beyond that fear of, oh my God, I'm going to go to Safeway naked. Naked. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what if? Like, can you imagine? So, welcome to my book club. My name is Carrie. The book club is called Naked and Unafraid. We read two books on repeat. Today we are reading, let me grab it, The Untethered Soul. We're finishing up chapters 13 through 15. And this book and the other book that we read, let me grab it, A Woman's Guide to Power, Unbound, were two books that I read and I couldn't stop thinking about. They changed my life. They changed everything about how I was living. And I recognized I was just doing it backwards and wrong. I mean, I literally was just doing life wrong. And they helped me work through all that. So we call the book club Naked and Unafraid because we're going to go to Safeway naked, right? No, we're not going to Safeway naked, but we are stripping all of the stuff that we have piled onto ourselves from the time we were born, from the time we were 3 and our mother said, comb your hair, or, Carrie, your face looks funny, or whatever it was, like whatever that was dumped on us that then taught us, oh, I must go outside with combed hair. I can't look funny. I can't be naked at Safeway. I mean, we were born naked. Oh, now I'm obsessed with this naked theme, but naked, we're getting rid of it all, and we are unafraid. We're not going to be scared of showing up at Safeway naked. Terrified. That would be terrifying. And the way the book club goes is I will give us a little synopsis of the chapter that we're reading. Today we are reading chapters 13 through 15. I will give us a little synopsis and then we will have time for discussion. If you guys have questions, if you have any ahas from working with this stuff, something that's happened in your life that is amazing, I would love to hear it. And then we will continue working through that. Also, I am recording this and I put it on YouTube. And if you do not want to be on YouTube, you just do not talk and the camera will not pick you up. If you have a question, I will try and pick it up in the chat. I'm not always amazing at that. I'm getting better at that. So I'm practicing, which is the whole purpose of what we do here, to practice. So that is how the book club, that is how we're going to run through it. And let me just give you, hey Kim, let me just give you a synopsis of what we did last week. So last week we did chapters 10 through 12. And chapter 10 was called Stealing Freedom for Your Soul. And the whole point of it was that we've assigned our mind a job to do, a job to protect us from fear. And our mind then goes and figures out, what should I do to protect Carrie? And that is not the job that our mind should have. We're giving it basically an impossible job. And one thing that I didn't say last week was he says to break that habit. He reminded himself, Michael Singer, the writer of the book, reminded himself just to every time he would get in his car, he would go and before he would open the door, he would, grab the handle and he would remind himself to relax. And he would remind himself to remember that he was sitting on a planet spinning in the middle of nowhere. He was a speck of dust. And this relaxing and this reminding himself reminded him of getting his mind out of that insidious habit of, what should I do because I'm embarrassed at Safeway because I'm naked? We talked about that before you joined, Kim. I'm going to apparently be headed to Safeway with no clothes on. Not, but that would be an edge for me. Like I would be terrified of doing that. So that's somehow what I am stuck on now talking about. So I had an idea that my habit, like I don't always drive in a car. So my habit could be every time I went to pick up my phone. So every time I go to pick up my phone, I could remind myself, hey, I am a speck of dust on this planet. Like life is so much bigger than this. And I could remind myself to stop giving my mind that impossible task of, well, what should I do to stop feeling that fear? Because the mind doesn't know. It does not know. And the only reason we're all doing that, right? We're all doing that. And we think that it will give us a good solution. But our mind is only going to be basing its solution on things that it knows. And it only knows what it's lived through. And it hasn't lived through a gazillion other things. So yeah, and it changes its mind all the time. Oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. It's incessant and it's ridiculous, and I want us to have some relief from doing that. Okay, that was chapter 10. Chapter 11, pain, the price of freedom. So he brings this up because, yes, in order to move through all this stuff, we are going to feel some pain. And pain is the signal that that energy is ready to move. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, okay, well, I guess I'm ready to go through that pain because I don't want to keep that stored energy down there. I want to let it go. I want to feel that joy, that's in there in all of us. So the pain that I've been trying to avoid all of a sudden becomes a good thing. So maybe going to Safeway naked is a good thing. Okay, chapter 12 was called Taking Down the Walls. So he had this really, really good analogy of we've built this house and we've kept all the light out and we've kept ourselves cozy and contained. And in doing that, we think that we're safe, but we've just contained ourselves. And I'm talking to you from my closet. We've just contained ourselves in this tighter and tighter space. And all we really need to do is go outside and see the light. Like it is that easy. It's not easy. It is that simple. It's not easy because we don't want to feel that pain. We don't want to open the windows. I don't want to leave the closet if I've been in the closet forever. So, okay, so that's what we talked about last week. Was there something from this last week that you wanted to talk about, that you had an aha about? And as I was talking about, like, hey, every time I go to open the door, every time I pick up my phone, I can remind myself, is there something that you think maybe you could turn into a ritual that would remind you to like snap out of it? And Grace is reminding me that if you don't want to show up on YouTube, you can turn your camera off and talk to me. So that's another way. Or you could put it in the chat. And if you guys don't have anything, then we will move on to talking about chapter 13. And I'm playing with these little silences.
Silences are good.
Right? They are
Yeah.
good.
I just want to, oh, I didn't take my camera off. I just want to show, I have these two books from the library
Yes.
and I just like have them by me. Like that's my reminder. I don't actually read them yet. But
And I love that
the
about you,
covers
Grace.
are powerful for me.
I love that about you. You're gonna read them one day and you're gonna be like, oh my God. You're gonna have like this whole like backstory of everything, and it's just gonna like pop into your brain and you're gonna go, oh my God.
But they are overdue, so I need to return them.
Oh,
But I'll check them out again and wait until they come through.
no
Anyway,
worries.
that's it. That's my silly. But it is when you're saying it's a visual reminder. Do you know what I mean? I have them sitting in different places and I see them and I have this little, it's not as frequent as what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to think of something more frequent, but it is a visual, of like, oh, that's right.
It's a good reminder.
Okay, I'm going to turn my camera off.
Kim, you took yourself off mute. Did you have something?
I do, but I wanted to comment on what Grace just said because I do that very frequently. Like I take certain books with me to read, and I may not read them for months, or I keep them out on the table as a reminder that I want to read them. And they may be books that I've read before. And it's just funny because the Unbound, I have read the whole thing. I love it. And it's one of those I like to keep as a reminder
Yeah.
too. But I had it on a girls' trip that was an absolutely amazing trip with two other women, and I ended up
Awesome.
giving it to
Yes.
one of
Yes.
them. And so now I want to buy another copy because I like having physical books. Grace, like too, like the visual just will be sometimes all I need as a reminder.
Right. To kind of get
Um,
back into it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
then if I'm in my head, um, you know, and let's say I'm in something that I can't go out of whatever room, I'm in a meeting or I'm in something, it's either dropping into my body and just saying, like, what do I see? What do I smell? And the best thing for me is just going outside. But if that's not possible at the time, it's, and this is what I say I want to do. I don't always do it in the moment. It's like
Yes.
I just give it to the universe. And that's
Yeah.
my thing every night before I go to bed. And in the morning, I wake up and say, I'm willing. So for whatever is going to come.
Yeah. I love that. I also say that I'm just going to give it to the universe. And sometimes I'm holding on to it.
It's amazing how good at that we can get, isn't it?
Right? At least we're saying it like we're trying to release it.
But you know what the word trying does?
I know. As soon as I said it, I was like, shit, I'm trying again. I'm doing that thing again. It's a practice.
So good. So glad I could make it today. Thank you all.
Oh, thank you
Actually,
for coming.
that is the good word is practice. That's what
Yeah,
we practice yoga. It's and we can never we practice everything is you can only improve by practicing
exactly.
and you don't
Exactly.
have to put yourself down for not trying because you're practicing. So that's a
Right.
good word to use.
Yeah, it is a good word.
Yeah.
And all we can do is practice. I mean, we were not born knowing how to do any of this. We were not born knowing how to play tennis or the piano. And somehow we know that we can practice those things, but we feel like we fall down and, embarrass ourselves or whatever, and we can't we can't recover from it. It's ridiculous. It is practice in life. We fall down, we embarrass ourselves. Yes, let's keep going, get up again, and don't shame ourselves. I mean, that's so beautiful. I love thinking about it like that. I don't always remember, but
Donna, that's perfect. Like that. Thank you,
yeah,
guys. That is so perfect.
so good. I agree.
I'm just going to practice.
All right, let's move to chapter. I lost where I was. Did I talk about chapter 13? No, I didn't. Okay, chapter 13 is called Far, Far Beyond. And the reason it's called Far, Far Beyond is that we have to get beyond in order to grow. And so he says that we've built these inner models to keep ourselves safe. We know the model that we've built is predictable. We think we know what it is. So my model is I'm married, I do my hair before I go out, I put clothes on before I go to the Safeway. This is my model. And I make sure that people around me have some kind of level of comfort. And that model gives me a feeling that I'm in control. Whereas we all know that life, we have absolutely no control over it. So this model that I've built isn't actually keeping me safe, it's keeping me trapped. And he had these really, really good, he has a couple good analogies. So there's one of the caged tiger. So we go to the zoo, the tiger's in a cage, and we think that that tiger is safe in that cage, but that cage is actually keeping that tiger trapped. The other analogy he had that I love so much is that there's a dog with an electric collar on, and there's an electric fence. And every time the dog gets closer and closer to the fence, it feels this collar start to vibrate. And the dog knows that if I get close enough to the fence, I'm going to get zapped. So the dog starts retreating. It like learns that it can only survive in this area. Survive is not a good word because what happens to the dog if it reaches that electric fence, it's going to feel that zap. But that zap is just a temporary thing. And if the dog keeps moving towards the fence, and feels the collar and doesn't mind the collar and thinks, okay, this is the day. Like I am that brave dog. I'm going to move towards, I'm going to feel that collar. I'm going to feel that discomfort. And I'm going to hit that zap and I'm going to go through it. So the zap is a temporary thing. It does not feel good when it happens. If I go to Safeway naked and people are looking at me, I'm not going to feel good. But that is the price of getting to the other side and Carrie all of a sudden becoming a nudist and showing up at Safeway naked all the time. I swear to God, I have to find something new because this cannot happen. My kids would disown me, which is another edge. My kids would be disappointed and miserable with me. The horror, like everything is I don't want to face it. So I'm going to retreat from it. But that is not actually what gives us the freedom. The freedom is moving towards that fear and getting zapped and getting beyond it. That's the freedom. And when I first kind of learned all this, I was like, whoa, I'm going to run towards that freedom. And he tells us that is not a good idea. He says that things are going to come up for us to deal with. So we don't have to go looking for them. I don't have to go to Safeway naked in order to free myself from my own bullshit. Something, as soon as I finish doing this with you and go out there and go into the kitchen, something is going to come up that I'm going to feel uncomfortable about. And I can relax through it and move towards it instead of retreating. So we don't have to go naked to Safeway. I should be counting how many times I say that today. because I am now obsessed with it. And then I saw this thing on a podcast that I was like, oh my God, this is exactly the same thing that Michael Singer's talking about. There was a scientist or something, and he had an ant on a piece of paper and he drew a circle, and the ant stayed within that circle until and then he did it with a spider, and he put the spider on a piece of paper and he drew a circle, and he drew the circle tighter and tighter and tighter around that spider until the spider like accidentally like slipped out of that circle. The spider would not move beyond that circle that was there. A spider. And then when it accidentally moved beyond the circle, it could never be contained in that circle again. It's exactly the same thing. It's amazing to me. I heard that on a podcast. I did do a little research to make sure that was somewhat true, and it's true that it came from the podcast. So I don't know if there was any actual, scientists that did that, but isn't that amazing? Like I'm gonna have to review it now. Okay. So that's what I have for chapter 13.
Well, we draw our own circles, right? Like, I
Yes.
mean, I don't mean that in like a blame
No, we
way.
do. That's
We
exactly.
learn to, like it's kind
Yes.
of drawn for us, but we go, oh, there's a circle there. And we can draw a bigger circle or no circle or make holes in it or yeah.
We can choose to bust through that circle every day, every hour, every minute. We can choose to do that. That's like gives me such freedom is the word that I want to say. Peace, like it gives me some peace. Like I can move through that circle, the circle that I have created myself. And yeah, I don't have any, whenever I want to blame myself for something like that, Grace, I immediately blame the way that I was brought up. And I don't blame my parents. I blame society. I blame life. I blame history. I blame the world that we live in that had me believing this certain thing. That's a really good way of saying, yeah, I'm not blaming myself for the circle. I put the blame somewhere else because we as women like to blame ourselves. That's just what we do. Immediately we go, oh, I made the damn circle. Why'd I do that? Like, yeah. Okay, so that is chapter 13. Do you guys have any questions, any ahas, any holy shit, that's my circle? Are you going to join me at Safeway Naked? I love that's the theme for today.
I just, isn't it illegal to
It might be.
it is. I think
Although,
it is.
Grace, I live in Northern California and we are
Oh,
allowed to run around naked. Like, I'm
you
pretty
are?
sure. Yeah. So that may not stop me.
Well, I can say going like to the beach and going in the ocean naked is so free. So it is a good like um mind picture if you think
Yeah.
of that when you're saying being naked. It is a freedom that you just like, whoa. I mean, getting to the water might be a little scary, but once you get in the water, it's freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've only
I
done it
love
3 times. So.
3 times.
Yes.
I can actually feel it when you say it. You know what I mean? Like I feel that like just the difference of the water just moving across your skin and there's nothing changing the temperature, the texture. It's just like I must have done it because I have a visceral when you say it. But I appreciate what you're saying about going naked to Safeway because there are so many kinds of naked, right?
Yeah.
Like we're kind of laughing about, oh, would I go without any clothes on?
Right.
But could I go unencumbered? Could I go unencumbered with even like my shopping list or, whatever? We don't even have Safeway here in Minnesota. But we had it in Washington State where I grew up. But yeah, can we go fresh? Can we go unguarded, or what do you call like letting what's that called? Armoring down.
Yes. Yes. And even as you're saying that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, like as I get older, my knees are getting wrinkly and all that kind of bullshit. And I used to be like, oh my God, I don't want to wear shorts. So, and now I'm like, whatever, I wear shorts. Who cares? So it's a different level of like, am I going to wear shorts to the Safeway? Like every single thing is a letting go kind of thing and being just more free and more naked. So maybe not completely naked, but it's just another level of releasing that. Like my knees are who cares?
I love it. I'm pretty sure I've been naked everywhere.
Awesome. Wait, in the Safeway though?
Not in the safe way.
Yeah, in the
Not
Safeway.
in the safe way, but in that context, of, you know, I have been in the ocean naked, which is absolutely the most beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
But the nakedness, I've chosen, I don't wear makeup at all anymore. I stopped coloring my hair in 2018. And I want to show up to help people feel better in these amazing bodies that
Yeah.
we've given. And I want to show up naked for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I don't wear shoes most of the time, except when it's too cold, and then I do. So, but it's hard. I mean, I've also been, attacked for being naked.
Yeah.
And, speaking in the kindest way I can, but being authentic in,
Yeah.
so.
It's really hard as a woman. It's really hard because we have, the stuff we're bombarded with of, 21-year-old women that have perfect skin and hair and no
But
sun.
even the 21-year-olds are all having so much work done now. It's really, really
I know.
sad.
I
Like,
know. It's sad and terrifying and yeah, we've talked about this before that I
yeah,
have chosen not to. I used to do Botox and fillers.
yeah.
I've chosen not to do any of that anymore because I just want it just to happen. Like life, you're meant to age. So I mean, it's so hard because you look at yourself in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, that's happening now. And I just have to relax again and realize that, yes, that is what is supposed to happen. You get older and stuff changes and shifts. Did I expect it never would? Like, so I haven't embraced the hair yet. I still color my hair. I am thinking about it though, Kim. I am thinking about it.
Yeah, I think mine like went grayer right at first, and then now like it's not. So
It's awesome.
yeah, I mean there's gray, it's easier I think when you're blonde because it mixes in.
Yeah.
But it's been that part has been probably the easiest part of my being.
Yeah. Yeah, hair is itself a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm also feeling this power. You've said naked and Safeway so many times today that
Right?
I am feeling like, we always are underneath our clothes.
Right.
Like
Right.
we are. Like if I walk in with that, if I walk everywhere with that, and it's a little easier in the summer because I'm just like
Mm.
wearing a little summer dress and it feels like not having anything on. But like I could use that to learn what it feels like and be that way in the middle of winter in Minnesota in a parka and three sweaters. It's like I'm actually naked under here. Like we are.
Yeah.
There's
And
something powerful about that in the
I like
context of
to
the Unbound book, right? Like we're
I,
unbound.
I like to remember that we're born naked. I mean, and animals don't wear any clothes and also we're born perfect. The way we are born is exactly the way we are meant to be. And yes, women, we are so bombarded with how we should look and we often go after like makeup. I mean, I put makeup on for today. I, have had Botox and fillers and all that kind of stuff. to go after an ideal, and that all takes so much time and money and energy, and it's a distraction from, like here I am talking to you guys. Like this is the beauty of life, the beauty of life is not if my lips are plumper, it's just it's so insidious, and we could have we could go on for days about this, but I like to try and remember I was born perfect, just as all of us are. We just are. It's hard to remember when you're bombarded, but we can also control that a little bit, a little bit. Okay, so that is the end, I think, of chapter 13. Chapter 14 is called Letting Go of False Solidity. So we work so hard full time to hold everything together, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But this structure that we've built, it is like we've built our house on sand. It is this thing that we've built, and we built it on something that's constantly moving. And we are trying to avoid that thing, fear. And whatever we identify as, I'm a woman, I'm someone who doesn't talk about politics, I like the color pink, whatever we identify ourselves as, we kind of get stuck in that. And all of those things, those beliefs that we think we have, they are not freedom. They are just our anchors. Like I'm a woman, but I mean, I could choose to, go through whatever to try and present as not a woman. That one's really hard for me to get my head around. But I am married. Like, what if I wasn't married? I identify so much with, like, I'm a married woman. I'm a mom. What if I didn't have kids? I mean, I talk a little bit about, what if my husband left me? I wouldn't be a married woman. Like, what if I decided I didn't like the color pink? All these things that we have this model, and it's so tenuous, and it could change at any moment. And when we feel that panic of trying to hold on to that, I love pink, that's the thing that we're trying to identify with. I'm a person that likes pink. Okay, well, what if pink were eradicated? What if pink were no longer a color in the universe? Like, would I go away as a person? No. I would feel uncomfortable because I couldn't then anchor myself on that pink, but I could find another color. Like it would just be a temporary, and I don't have to anchor myself on any color. I don't have to anchor myself on I'm married. I don't have to anchor myself on I'm a woman. I don't have to anchor myself on, and the I'm a woman thing is really hard because I'm really, really anchored on that. But that's what he's trying to tell us in chapter 14. And he says that instead of going to the mind and asking, how can I fix this discomfort? Instead of asking that, oh mind, what can I do in order to fix this discomfort of never being able to find pink again? Instead of asking the mind that, ask it, who is this that notices the discomfort? And in doing that, I can fall back behind the mind. I'm not giving the mind that task of, well, Carrie, you can go to the store and find another color. You can go, throw all your whites in with your reds and create pink. Like whatever nonsense that the mind might come up with that might be a good solution, might be a bad solution. Instead of solving the problem, I look at who am I that notices that I am uncomfortable because I can't find pink anymore. And that person, that soul is back here. That is not this thing, which is so hard for us to really wrap our heads around. But that's such a good question. Instead of Mind, how do you fix the discomfort? Who notices? And I spend a lot of time. Okay, I notice, I notice, I notice, I notice. That's so helpful. Just that phrase, I notice. And again, we're going to get back to, he talked about practicing. So that moment, if I were to, let's say I go to Safeway in my short shorts and my ass is hanging out. So no longer am I naked, but all of a sudden my 59-year-old ass is hanging out of my shorts. That discomfort that I feel that somebody's looking at me, that is not fear, that is practice. I'm practicing. I'm practicing moving towards that invisible fence and feeling it and continuing to move into Safeway. I love that. And another way that I think about it is if I ever find myself getting defensive or feeling protective, if I'm in a discussion with my husband and I start to get defensive about my stance, that's a sign. It's a total sign to me to be like, okay, Carrie, you're trying to defend this thing. Like, why are you defending it? It's a sign that I'm trying to protect that model that I have. He might have a really good point. Why am I like gripping so hard and trying to defend this thing? Okay, that's all I have for chapter 14. I like that I'm in short shorts now. I'm not totally naked at the Safeway.
I have a,
And
sorry.
yes,
I have a question about that when you say, so I've noticed that I'm in these short shorts at Safeway and I'm just allowing it to happen. But is it wrong to, oh, well, maybe I should cover up and then cover up?
no, it's not wrong.
No. So it's still okay to fix it.
Yes,
Like if it's
yes,
something you're noticing, you're like, oh, maybe that isn't inappropriate. Maybe I should just pull it down a little.
right. I mean, none of it is wrong. I think I like to try and think to myself, if I'm feeling that discomfort, I'm noticing that discomfort. And I can do something about it if I want to. But if it's I really try and feel the discomfort and relax through it. It's like it's like different levels, right? So if you are in a situation where like my husband's yelling at me and I'm feeling discomfort, I can leave. I can get up and walk out the front door. I don't have to listen to him yelling at me. It's like a different, you kind of decide, am I gonna try and relax through this? And sometimes I try and relax through it. He's yelling and I try and relax. And sometimes I do. And it's like, oh, that passed. And sometimes I can't relax through it and I have to do something to, like manage myself. So none of it is wrong. It's just all practice.
Another thing that popped out when you talked about anchors and how we have all these anchors to keep us safe.
Right.
Well, anchors weigh things down.
Yeah.
So just the visual of an anchor is like, of course it's gonna pull you down. That's what an anchor, well, I mean it also gets in the sand and keeps you in one spot. But
Right.
for the most part, at first, it just pulls, it goes
Right.
down and then
Plop.
sinks, and there it is. So it's heavy.
Yeah. That's a good one. The anchor keeps you stuck as opposed to letting you move on and move through. Yeah.
I'm thinking in a sea context, it can allow you to be in a spot to not be you know what I mean?
To drift around.
Yeah, so it doesn't like you can put it down, lower the anchor, and it holds you in that spot so you can actually relax in that spot and know that you're not gonna go all over. And I don't know enough about anchors. I think that in some cases they don't, it's not long enough to go to the bottom depending where you are, right? Like it might just be hanging in the water. I don't know. Anyway, that's too detailed. Uh, but there is like a value to that. Like I think about anchoring positive things
Yeah,
I
it's
can
like,
be very drifty, you know,
yeah,
I can be
it,
very
I
drifty.
think that there are levels to all this stuff, right? So
It's just language, right?
yeah, and there's always, like when if I'm feeling something and it's like horrific and I can't take it, there are levels, there are things that I can do. I can try and remember that I'm sitting on a planet in the middle of nowhere. I can try and think about something positive so that I'm not thinking about something negative. So there's just levels of all of this stuff. But the highest level is to get rid of it all, to relax through it all and get rid of it all and not have the anchor and not have to go to the positive thought. Just relax and let it burn through and get there. But we can't like we're these human beings with these fears and models and emotions, and we've never been taught how to do this, so we just have to do what works in the moment. Yeah.
And like you're saying, it's tricky. Some moments are just tricky of
Yeah.
like, you're just hovering and it's like, am I going this way? I don't want to do the old pattern. Don't know a new thing. And, oh, that backfired.
Right. We just get up and try something new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you've also been talking about practice a lot today, and I feel how that takes the pressure off.
Oh, doesn't it
You
though?
know, at the same time, I mean, and I'm coming from a theater background, and it's just easy to get into a place like a mindset of rehearsing. And so I also kind of challenge myself to go, this is it. There is no rehearsal. This is the moment. Um, but I don't feel that different than practicing. And I think the thing I come up with is like experiment. And I've probably even said it before. But it's just like this is an experiment, and I get information from that.
Yeah, that's so good.
And
Yeah,
so it's not that different than practicing, but somehow it makes me show up a little more, invites me to show up a little more. This is the moment with its discomfort, with its whatever. How's it going?
right.
What do I know now? Yeah. And it,
Yeah,
it, it has that same effect for me that I'll be doing something. It's an experiment. It doesn't have to work out.
yeah. I used experiment the other day with something else I was doing, and it's a totally different feel because experiment feels like it's it feels like more than practicing, right? Like you have levers or like it's like a science experiment. It's a different feel, but it's the same thing, right? Yeah. Okay, let's move on to chapter 15, which is called The Path of Unconditional Happiness. And he starts this chapter by saying, we just have one choice to make. Do we want to be happy or not? And I think we all want to be happy, so we all would say, yes, absolutely. But then he goes on to say, well, are you really committed to that? Or do you want to be happy regardless of what happens? Carrie, do you want to be happy if your husband leaves you? Carrie, do you want to be happy if there's no more pink in the world? Like, I can't be, I just want to be happy if all of these priorities, all of these conditions are met in life. It has to be that whatever happens, whatever life throws at me, whatever's happening in the world, what is it? Do I want to be happy or not? And we just have to keep reminding ourselves of that because I think we all would say, yes, I want to be happy. And it's not about, are things going my way? Did I hit the lottery? It's not about that. It's about being happy in whatever the conditions are in the moment that we are sitting in right now, this second. And that again, it makes it sound so simple, and it makes me feel such peace and such freedom. But then immediately, like that something's going to happen, and I'm going to question that again. But if I can remember, do I want to be happy? okay, then I'm going to move through whatever this is that feels like I'm not happy, feels uncomfortable. I'm going to choose to move through it with whatever level of grace that I can. And I'm going to try and be happy about it. Because what other choice do I have? Life is going to throw me whatever it's going to throw me. I have no control over it. And am I going to choose to be happy or not? This chapter just blew my brain when I first read it. I've now read it several times, as you know. And he says, okay, you're going to fall. Something's going to happen. And we're going to fall down and cry about how unhappy we are and how unfair it is. And then we're going to remember, okay, I said I wanted to be happy regardless of what was happening. We fell. We might, do it on social media. We get back up and we say, yeah, I did, that happened. Oh, well, whatever. Like, I'm going to remember that I want to be happy regardless. And I mean, what an amazing example that is. Like, how beautiful is that? Like, that we see things now on social media. People are like, yeah, well, I said this, but I kind of like, maybe I think this way now. Like, it's so, people that can do that, I like think they're my idols. I would like to be able to do that as well. And I kind of am starting to be able to a little bit, but yeah, we're practicing. We don't know. We didn't come out born knowing everything and being able to move through in this like perfection, and it's nothing is perfect except us because we were born perfect. But we're gonna do something that is not going to look good to the world, or we're gonna fall down and be a failure. I'm trying to think of something that I had done recently that I fell down and really bothered myself about. I can't, nothing's coming out, but we're gonna fall down and feel like, oh shit. And he's telling us that that is just our growth. I mean, the people that are amazing in this world are the people that can get up from that and can say, yeah, I fell down. I'm gonna keep trying. Like that is an honor to see, and that is so inspiring to me. Just come back. Unconditional happiness is a practice. Just try and remember that I said I was going to be happy regardless of what happens. All right, that is the end of chapter 15. Is that what we're on? Yeah, chapter 15. So, did you guys have anything about this chapter? I love it so much. That was 14? I think that was 15. I wrote down how would your life shift if happiness became your default and if you decided you were going to be happy regardless? I mean, I can just feel how my life would shift. And I just know that things would keep bombarding me. But wow, if I could choose to be happy during whatever bombarded me, I'm like unstoppable. And that's the whole thing. Like life is going to happen. Life is going to life. There's going to be a tornado. There's going to be an earthquake. I'm trying to think of things that aren't horrific. My hair is going to fall out. Like my hair is like falling out a little bit. It's not as thick as it used to be. I'm going to choose to be happy. My hair is going to get gray. I'm going to choose to be happy. Why would I be anything other than happy about the fact that, I don't have as much hair or my hair is getting gray? Like, why would I choose to make me unhappy? And there are plenty of things that we can all think about that I'm trying not to think about right now, but there are plenty of things we can think about that are much worse than any of that. Um, what if my husband left me? I'm going to choose to be happy. Don't leave me. But somehow I would, like I would be fine. We would be good. Life would move on. And who knows what adventure would await me. I can't, nothing is nothing is solid. Even if, even though you get married, think you're going to be with this person. Like, um, I had a dog and the dog died, and that was very, very, very unhappy. But what am I going to do? Like dogs, um, they only have a certain lifespan that's shorter than ours. And you have to accept that that's what happened. It made me very sad. I was very, very sad. And I tried to prolong his life as much as I could. But at some point, that dog was not living his best life. And it was not, he just was not having a good experience in his life. And he died. And so am I going to choose to fall down on the floor and lay there for the rest of my life because my dog died? No, I'm going to choose to get up and be happy about it. I am grateful that I had that time with him. So that is the end of chapter, whatever it is, 15, I think it is. Do you guys have any questions or any ahas about this one?
Forming. I think of what is it, the thing that guides people around, map thing. It used to be called a Garmin. I don't know what it's called now.
Oh, GPS?
Yeah, it's like, well, the old ones, my mom used to have it, and it would say, if it's giving you directions, you go a different way, and it goes recalculating.
Right.
You know? So sometimes I'd just be like, turn left, just turn left.
Right.
Just do it. And she would, and it'd go, oh, recalculating. Um, I'm not sure what's happening in my mind. You're talking about the dog. And I'm just kind of contemplating how much expectation weighs into this. I had a cat that lived 19 and a half years. And at that point, I don't think I was in a relationship with anyone else for that long.
Mm.
And yet I don't think that much of it. I mean, I just was thinking about how much people come and go. And some people we're like, oh, it's a tragedy. We don't see each other anymore. Or there's a break in the flow, but there's so many things that just pass in and out, and I don't expect them to last.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
I think,
think
go ahead.
I think we all know people that fall down and roll around on the ground like that's their life. They like to do that. And just, the fact that we're here, I know that we are not those people. So we're gonna tackle it, and we just need to remember that question. Do we want to be happy, or do we not want to be happy? And unfortunately, those people that can't deal with the bad things that happen in life, your dog dies, your cat dies, someone that you love is not with you any longer. You had a bad breakup, you got divorced, whatever happens. Like some people cannot move beyond, and that's part of their identity sometimes is they like to roll around on the ground and identify as, oh, I'm the victim, I'm this person that this happened to me. But again, do you want to be happy, or do you not want to be happy? If you want to be happy, then you have to, shit happens. People get divorced. I'm realizing I'm throwing that around a lot. I do not want to get divorced from my husband. Although if it happened, I would find a way to be happy.
Isn't there that saying from Jung that what you can't imagine, like there's a power in being able to imagine it because then you're engaging with that. And
Yeah.
so it's a lot less likely to happen because yeah.
Oh,
And what we can't imagine can run us without us knowing it,
right.
right? Like, yeah.
That's beautiful, Grace, because I always
Yeah.
think the things that I think, I mean, those things can happen. I'm putting that thought out there, right? So I love that. Whatever you just said, I'm gonna have to go look it up.
Yeah, I can't remember it exactly, but it's, I don't know. So mortality has been a big presence for the last year and a half. My partner almost died from a stroke. And, just things that happened early in my life that have made me very aware of the preciousness of life. I've always, since we've been together, which is like over 30 years, I'm always aware that something could happen to him. He could
Right.
die, I could die.
Right.
But there's something different with it actually almost happening. It's it's moving into me in a different way, along the lines of what you're saying of like, oh, and then I would go on if I was still here,
Right.
or he would go on if I
Right.
was not. And I started, and then there's, with the all what we've gone through in the last 5 years, there's things happening, people leaving. Um, and I just started thinking about the garden. I'm in a state that has 4 seasons, so we don't have constant, you know, garden time. And when it gets to the end of the season, I have some feelings about it, but it's not a tragedy. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I got this done, I didn't get that done.
Yeah.
But I don't go, what? And the kale's dying too? You know? It's like, and there's also a relief in it of like, whew, can do something else with my time for
Right.
a
Right.
season.
It opens up something else. I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it.
And
And
the cycle of it. And I was just like opening myself to transferring more of that feeling to other life cycles of people coming and going, myself coming and going. Like it could not be a tragedy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That, or it could be less of a, I'm not saying I'm not going to bypass grief. I think that's an important part of the human experience. It feels like that. It feels like it's a real enlivening thing, even though
Yeah.
it's very painful.
Yeah.
But it like comes in these waves and has its own, it's a thing. So I'm not trying to bypass that or bypass pain, but like to not have it be a like, oh no, he died, we divorced, it left, whatever. It's just like,
Right.
why can I orient more to it like the garden? Like, well,
It's a
wonder what we'll
season.
do next spring, you know?
Instead of kale, we'll have plums or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
thanks for
also,
hearing that.
when you think about that, like death, whenever you think about death, that also is like brings us so much more to appreciating life, So you think about, we've been talking a little heavy now about my dog dying, and you even when you think about that, it helps you appreciate, like I'm going to leave now after I get off this call and go give my husband a big hug because I am still married to him, you know? So it gives you a sense of just a gratitude for what we actually have right now whenever we think about not having. Yeah, there's a whole chapter coming up about death that I think is so awesome. We'll talk about that next week.
Well, I think gratitude is when you keep saying happy, for me, that is if if you're in these difficult situations, if you can focus on the gratitude for whether it's silver linings or, what you do have, that can be, to me, one of the biggest gifts of grief and, the gratitude for having my mom and dad as long as I did,
Yeah.
or my brother, or, whoever. And finding the joy in whatever is now. And I don't know why I have this thing with the word happy. And I replace it with using gratitude and joy. Because as you're like saying, well, yes, you want to get back to happiness, but you know, in the heat of the divorce or the death or the
Right.
grief over whatever,
Yeah.
right? It is so traumatic in whatever way it's traumatic.
Right.
So pulling out that gratitude for whatever it is, which I'm not saying it's easy
Yeah. It's
in
not.
any way, to come back to that and find the joy in the memory or in the,
Right.
like, I got to be with this person or this animal or whatever it is for as long as I did, or I get to, I think women in general feel so deeply, you know, I'm making a huge generalization, but
Yeah.
right now, one of my jobs is working with people with Parkinson's. And it is, you know, people in these classes that I teach, one day, 2 people went down, right? Like one had a stroke at the middle of class, another hit their head. And it's so heavy. But then again, like I came back after being gone for 2 weeks to teach this morning, and 2 of those people were back.
Hmm.
And the gratitude, like to be able to share that, they're so grateful that they're, you know, and I put in quotes, okay, because their level of okay
Right.
is
It's
so,
different.
yes.
Yeah.
And to be able to just give them a hug and to be able to, I don't know whether it's a joke enough to bring more joy in these difficult times.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy is a tricky word. It's a tricky word. But I really think I think he's challenging us to say, you know, really, like, do you want to be happy or not? And I think that's the word. Like, I hear you. I know, like, and we can all think of moments where we're like, how can I be happy during that? You know, like it's,
Kidding me? I don't
right?
want to be happy right now.
No, how could that possibly be? But, you know, I mean, that's a really, really good threshold. Like, that's a really good thing to think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard word though. I hear you.
It kind
All
of
right.
reminds me of when your kids, teenagers, and you're trying to, maybe they're going off to school and you want to give them one positive thing before they leave, though you want to wring their necks, but you say, I love the way you breathe, because they're still breathing. And that's the
Right.
only thing you can think of.
Right, right.
But you're still grateful that they're alive and they're
Yes.
breathing. But
Yes.
right now in this moment, the only thing I can think of is, I love that you're breathing.
Right, right. Oh, I so feel that with you, Donna.
Right. Gratitude is definitely a practice as well. And the
Yeah.
more you practice it, maybe the more joy and more happiness we can have too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to commend you, like as parents, that's actually, there are moments where that's very generous. Because you're not necessarily getting that back at a certain age, right? It's like, oh my God, mom, you're breathing, you
Right.
know? So the fact that we can extend that is maybe bigger than we think.
Yeah.
I can't remember when that kicks in. Maybe it's younger and younger now, but like it used to be like 12, 13, and just like, oh, just the fact that you existed or had a face or said a word, it's just like, oh, mom, you know.
Yeah, they challenge me more than anyone else.
Same.
Yeah, which is good. And you know, like that's fantastic, but it's like, wow, like who knew that was gonna be the case?
And it changes too, which one is the most challenging. at different times and can be really hard and then really beautiful if you get to the other side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And be happy.
Right. Happy. Exactly. There's that word. Okay, ladies, I'm going to wrap us up for today because I don't want to take us any further in time. I have loved talking about this with you, and I thank you for being here. And next week, we're going to, I think, finish the book. And then who knows when we're going to get to the other book. We're going to cycle through and get to it pretty quickly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me talk about this book that I love. Thank you for taking yourselves on, and I will see you next week.